February 15th, one day after having a meeting with Pastor Marius about the usefulness of the campaign and how it fits into a church. And in the past, I've really just been working with teams from America and some local members from churches, evangelical churches, just doing prayer walking, Share Jesus Without Fear, and the level 3, people who knew Jesus. Those have been very effective as a little unit themselves. Now, after that, we were trying to get to a level 4 where we used the Charles Brock, I've been born again, what next, which was worked in a few places, but I haven't gotten that far that many times for several reasons. And then the level 5 is the Kingdom Doctrine Track, Second Reformation, of which we've done a lot of work with the Kingdom Doctrine Track. And so it was kind of linear, and I knew in my heart that it was this was mainly very evangelical here, and that this was very difficult because this is really like a church start, this level 4, moving towards what we call the level 7 cell group. And then this was level 5, was just in-depth doctrinal study. But what I realized yesterday after talking to Marius is it looks more like this. You have, the center of everything is Christ and the church, and it's tough to get people out. So what we did is we wrote the Gateway, 11 lessons to give people a chance to see what we're doing. And then level 1 and level 2 would be going out into the lost world, which worked very well when we had trumpet calls and blackouts. But we had a lot of problems getting the contacts going into the houses. We just didn't have a large enough workforce. So we have dropped the ball, and a lot of people were waiting for those level 3s we just never got to, and just too much work. So that was one problem in the past with this plan. And then we're trying to resolve that with more effort. The 3650 experiment was part of that solution to that. And then the 20 lessons, the National Bible Reading Campaign, was to bring a lost person back around towards Christ, and they may get saved, they may not, but we wanted to point them in that direction, and they may end up in church or may not. And then at that point, we had another problem getting the level 4 started, because once they went to church, that was pretty much the end of it. So we wanted to start these level 4s, which is working good out in the village. And now, where you see the church is in this discipleship loop here, this is pretty much the church, and this is pretty much evangelism working this way. And sometimes they work against each other, but it didn't have to. So in the future, what we'll be doing is sticking the level 4 people that are, before they enter into a group, that'll give them an idea, using that Second Reformation, how they'll come in from a list of names. And this will be under the pastor, I think Nutsu, and Lygia will help us integrate these people into lessons and classes. And that is working great as far as the Second Reformation in Romania. The acceptance is high. And then the level 5 Kingdom Doctrine Track should be, before they become a leader, preparing them to come back, like to grow in their small groups, but also to come through where we used to just stay in one spot and come back out as a leader. And this should be a perpetual loop like this. I think if you really realize how the church works, it looks a lot like this, all facets. You have discipleship, you have evangelism, turning people back towards Christ, and then discipleship and making leaders, and you just keep running that loop. So that is more, after 8 years, I see that is really what it looks like, more than this. Now, if you went into an area that was totally unchurched and there's no believers, nothing, it would look like this. But because we're working with the cell church, it's going to start looking more like this. I'm pretty excited about seeing if we can make that work.